Chapter 1. The Unbreakable Enigma. The Celestial Endeavor was the pinnacle of galactic collaboration, a starship built not by a single species or a lone empire, but by the combined brilliance of countless civilizations scattered across the vast reaches of the Andromeda sector. Its hull shimmered with alloys synthesized from rare minerals mined in far-flung systems, reinforced with adaptive nanostructures that could absorb and deflect energy weapons. Within its labyrinthine corridors, countless alien technologies harmonized with artificial intelligences that spoke in trillions of data streams, all focused on one singular mission: exploration beyond known space, charting the cosmos where no sentient being had ever ventured. Yet, despite its majestic design and unprecedented capabilities, the ship's progress was held hostage by one insurmountable problem: the quantum harmonic stabilizer. This device, a marvel of engineering that defied even the most advanced scientific understanding, was integral to the ship's warp drives. Without it operating at optimal precision, the Celestial Endeavor was condemned to crawl through space at sublight speeds, an anachronism in an age when light years were crossed as casually as miles once had been. The stabilizer's purpose was to maintain the delicate equilibrium of quantum states necessary for stable, faster-than-light travel, preventing catastrophic resonance failures that could tear apart the fabric of space itself around the ship. But it was unlike any technology ever encountered. Its circuits formed patterns reminiscent of organic neural networks, its core infused with exotic particles that glimmered faintly with an eerie blue glow, and its components arranged in fractal geometries that shifted subtly when observed for prolonged periods. Decades of research and countless experiments had brought the galaxy's finest minds to the brink of madness. Alien physicists wielding quantum calculus, engineers fluent in zero-point energy manipulation, and synthetic intelligences capable of simulating entire universes had all attempted to decode the stabilizer's inscrutable architecture. Massive laboratories aboard the Celestial Endeavor had been converted into workshops and think tanks, filled with holographic displays, particle accelerators, and energy matrices designed to mimic the device's internal dynamics. Yet, with every test run, the stabilizer emitted fluctuating signals, quantum noise that confounded sensors, erratic power surges that fried delicate components, and temporal anomalies that caused instruments to malfunction or display contradictory data. The ship's warp drives remained inert, their potential locked behind a veil of incomprehensible technology. The alien crews, a mosaic of species with senses and intelligences adapted to their unique worlds, grew increasingly frustrated. In their cultures, precision and perfection were the ultimate values, and failure was a concept almost alien to their collective psyche. Some insisted the stabilizer was a riddle designed to protect forbidden knowledge, a challenge laid down by a lost civilization whose motives were inscrutable. Others whispered of curses and ancient guardians encoded in the machine's fabric, mechanisms triggered by unworthy hands. The Celestial Endeavor's captain, a towering amphibious being named Vratol, had convened endless councils of experts, but progress remained elusive. Amidst this mounting tension, the galaxy's gaze shifted toward an unexpected source, a human mechanic named Jax Harper. Jax was an anomaly aboard the Celestial Endeavor, a species often regarded as quaint, sometimes reckless, but undeniably resourceful. Unlike the high priests of alien science who wielded elegant algorithms and crystal-infused processors, Jax's tools were far more rudimentary: a rugged wrench, a set of multi-purpose scanners, and the ubiquitous human invention known as duct tape, a material almost legendary for its versatility and persistence in countless corners of the galaxy. His reputation was that of a fixer of things declared unfixable, a practical mind able to see solutions where others saw only abstraction. When the quantum harmonic stabilizer began to emit a disquieting low-frequency hum, an audible sign of an impending systemic collapse, panic rippled through the ship's command decks. The AI cores registered anomalies in space-time flux measurements, and the ship's auxiliary power reserves started draining at an alarming rate. With warp travel impossible and critical systems at risk, the captain made a controversial decision: to call upon Jax Harper. Some officers scoffed at the notion, believing that a mere human with duct tape could never unravel the secrets of technology that had baffled entire civilizations. Others watched with cautious hope, aware that sometimes innovation lay outside the bounds of convention. Descending into the ship's engineering bay, Jax was greeted by an atmosphere thick with tension and anticipation. The room was cavernous, walls lined with pulsating energy conduits, crystalline regulators, and alien interfaces emitting a kaleidoscope of colors that shifted like living things. At its center sat the stabilizer itself, an imposing construct of swirling fractal circuits, glowing filaments, and nanoscale mechanical arms that twitched as if alive. The device's hum was growing louder, resonating through the floor beneath Jax's boots, as if the machine sensed the approach of a new challenger. Jax's eyes scanned the tangled mass of technology, not with the sterile detachment of a scientist, but with the curious warmth of a mechanic eager to understand and repair. His hands moved methodically, running diagnostic probes across the device's surface, feeling the faint vibrations of trapped energy and mapping the erratic pulses that defied conventional logic. Alien specialists hovered nearby, their elongated limbs twitching nervously, their multifaceted eyes reflecting both hope and skepticism. Yet, Jax ignored the murmurs and watched the device as if it were a broken-down engine back home. Complicated, yes, but ultimately fixable. Days passed in a blur of toil and discovery. Jax observed the stabilizer's behavior, noting the fluctuations that preceded power failures and the subtle shifts in nanomechanical arms that seemed to respond to external stimuli. He employed tools alien and familiar, crafting makeshift adapters and improvised circuits. Where the device's intricate quantum fields tore through conventional wiring, Jax resorted to duct tape, layering it meticulously across fragile joints, insulating delicate filaments, and even stabilizing microfractures invisible to even the most advanced scanners. To the alien observers, it was an act bordering on sacrilege. To Jax, it was a pragmatic necessity born of experience and stubborn optimism. Then, in a moment that seemed almost ordinary but was anything but, the stabilizer's hum deepened, shifting into a steady, harmonious tone. The erratic pulses smoothed into a rhythmic cadence, and the device's glowing filaments brightened steadily. Jax held his breath as the warp drive indicators flickered, the auxiliary power system stabilized, and the first tentative readings of space-time flux returned to normal parameters. A cheer erupted from the assembled crew, not for a flawless scientific breakthrough, but for the simple, unorthodox fix that had breathed life back into a machine that had defied the galaxy for generations. Jax smiled quietly, knowing that his solution was far from elegant. The duct tape might be seen as a joke in the annals of advanced technology, but sometimes, the simplest tools wielded by the boldest hands could bridge the gap between the impossible and the inevitable. The celestial endeavor stirred once more, ready to leap across the stars with a newfound strength born not just of alien brilliance, but of human ingenuity and resilience. Jax stood quietly before the quantum harmonic stabilizer, his eyes tracing the mesmerizing patterns of fractal circuits and pulsing filaments that seemed almost alive. Unlike the alien engineers, who viewed the device as an unfathomable riddle, Jax approached it as he would any broken machine, a puzzle to be understood, a problem to be solved by hands that knew how to listen. To him, the stabilizer was not some mystical artifact. It was a piece of complex technology, intricate but ultimately physical and tangible. This mindset, honed by years of fixing battered starfreighters on fringe worlds with little more than sheer determination and duct tape, was about to change the fate of the celestial endeavor. The maintenance bay buzzed softly with ambient energy, filled with holographic displays showing fluctuating quantum states and erratic power surges. Alien specialists hovered at a cautious distance, their elongated limbs folded and their multifaceted eyes shimmering with a mix of skepticism and hope. Jax noticed the way their advanced tools faltered against the stabilizer's unpredictable patterns, their calculations twisting into loops without resolution. But he was undeterred. Pulling a worn roll of duct tape from his toolkit, he chuckled softly, a sound of dry humor in the midst of high tension. His first step was to isolate the points of instability, delicate joints where quantum energy leaked and caused destructive resonance within the device. Using an improvised framework of thin metal plates, wires scavenged from auxiliary circuits, and layers of duct tape, Jax began to stabilize the structure mechanically. The aliens watched in disbelief as he reinforced fragile nanofilaments and sealed tiny fractures, his work more akin to patching a leaky pipe than calibrating cutting-edge quantum tech. But as the hours ticked by, the stabilizer's erratic energy patterns began to soften, the chaotic pulses smoothing into faint waves of harmony. Over the next several days, Jax tirelessly adjusted, patched, and reconfigured. He improvised new energy conduits, wrapped sensitive components with layers of insulation, and rerouted quantum feedback loops through makeshift stabilizers fashioned from duct tape and scrap parts. Every night, he scribbled diagrams and notes on worn data slates, combining alien schematics with his practical insights. His methods were crude compared to the pristine precision of alien technology, but they were effective, born of necessity and an intuitive understanding of mechanical systems that transcended species and science. Then came the moment of truth. The Celestial Endeavor's command deck held its collective breath as the stabilizer hummed, its glow deepening into a steady blue light that spread through the complex latticework like veins of living crystal. The warp drive control panels flickered to life, the energy flows stabilizing as the ship's systems hummed in unison. Sensors detected the formation of a stable quantum field, the very foundation needed to pierce the veil of normal space and enter faster than light travel. For the first time in years, the Celestial Endeavor was ready to jump. Jax smiled quietly, the corners of his mouth tugging upward in satisfaction. The duct tape, a simple human invention dismissed by the galaxy's greatest intellects, had been the final key. It was a symbol of human ingenuity, practicality, and the unyielding spirit to fix what others deemed impossible. As the captain announced the successful reactivation of the warp drives, cheers erupted throughout the ship, a celebration not just of technology restored, but of a new chapter written in the stars, one where human creativity bridged the gap between ancient alien mystery and modern possibility. The Celestial Endeavor was ready to leap forward, carrying with it the proof that sometimes the universe's greatest enigmas could be solved not by the most advanced algorithms, but by a human hand and a roll of duct tape. Jax's work did not end with simply stabilizing the device. The quantum harmonic stabilizer was a living puzzle, its inner workings shifting and evolving in response to subtle fluctuations in quantum fields that defied conventional logic. Even as the device hummed steadily, Jax noticed faint irregularities, microvibrations in its core, energy leaks that threatened to cascade into system failures if left unchecked. His approach was meticulous. He crafted tiny braces from spare parts and carefully applied strips of duct tape with surgical precision, reinforcing fragile elements while improvising new pathways to redirect destabilizing energy flows. The alien engineers observed with a mixture of awe and disbelief. They had spent lifetimes studying the stabilizer, armed with technology centuries ahead of anything human. Yet it was Jax's raw practicality and willingness to experiment outside orthodox scientific methods that breathed life back into the ancient machine. His presence challenged not just the limits of technology, but the very perceptions of intelligence and innovation that had long divided species across the galaxy. Days turned into weeks as the Celestial Endeavor's warp systems gradually came online, inching closer to full operational capacity. Jax's workroom became a hub of activity, a nexus where alien theories met human grit. Communication channels buzzed with reports of successful test runs, each warp jump increasing in duration and distance. The ship stirred from its sluggish hibernation, engines humming with renewed vigor, systems syncing with precision. Yet beneath this triumph lurked new challenges. The more Jax understood about the stabilizer, the more he realized that its design was not only advanced but deliberately obfuscated. Embedded within its quantum matrix were encoded protocol security measures set by an ancient civilization to protect their technology from misuse. One night, alone in the quiet glow of the engineering bay, Jax deciphered a fragment of the stabilizer's hidden code. It spoke of a planetary archive, a lost world containing schematics and knowledge vital to fully mastering the device. The archive had been sealed and hidden away after the fall of the civilization that created the stabilizer, deemed too dangerous for unregulated use. Jax's discovery set a new course for the celestial endeavor, not just to traverse the stars, but to uncover the secrets buried deep in the cosmos, secrets that could redefine the future of space travel. Chapter 2. The Journey to the Lost Archive. With the quantum harmonic stabilizer functioning at last, the celestial endeavor prepared to embark on a journey that promised as much peril as discovery. Jax stood on the bridge, watching as the stars streaked past during their first hyperspace jump in years. The ship's crew, a mosaic of alien species and diverse cultures, buzzed with excitement and anticipation. For them, the mission was not only to explore, but to reclaim lost knowledge and perhaps rekindle an ancient legacy. But Jax knew the path ahead would test more than their technology. It would challenge their courage, resolve, and the fragile trust forged between species. Astrius, the ship's advanced AI, coordinated navigation through uncharted sectors, interpreting data from long-forgotten star maps and extrapolating coordinates to locate the lost archive. The journey was fraught with uncertainty. Dark nebulae obscured sensors, ancient gravitational anomalies threatened navigation systems, and pockets of hostile space pirates lurked near known trade routes. Yet with each challenge, the crew's resolve grew stronger, galvanized by the hope that the archive held the key to unlocking the stabilizer's full potential. Jax continued his hands-on role, constantly monitoring the stabilizer's performance and adapting his makeshift repairs to meet the demands of prolonged warp travel. His duct tape patches held firm against the intense stresses of hyperspace, a testament to his unique blend of ingenuity and experience. But he also recognized that survival depended on more than mechanical skill. Alliances with alien factions had to be maintained, diplomatic tensions eased, and crew morale sustained through the long, lonely hours of space. As the celestial endeavor drew closer to the coordinates of the lost archive, the ship's sensors detected anomalies, strange energy signatures, and temporal distortions that hinted at the archive's protective measures. The crew prepared for what could be their greatest challenge yet, to unlock the secrets of a civilization that had vanished eons ago, and to harness technology that might propel them into a new era of exploration or doom them to repeat the mistakes of the past. The voyage to the Lost Archive was unlike any journey the celestial endeavor had undertaken. The ship glided through the dark corridors of uncharted space, surrounded by swirling nebulae that stretched across light years like cosmic veils, their iridescent gases casting eerie glows against the ship's reinforced hull. The silence beyond the vessel was profound, broken only by the faint hum of machinery and the quiet murmur of the crew navigating a path through cosmic unknowns. Despite the warp drives functioning with newfound stability, the sense of unease was palpable. The very coordinates that promised salvation also whispered of hidden dangers in ancient security system encoded with protections designed to deter even the most determined explorers. Jax knew that the challenges ahead would test not only his mechanical prowess but the resilience and unity of the entire crew. Days blended seamlessly into nights aboard the ship, though the passage of time itself seemed warped and fragile when traveling faster than light. Jax spent long hours in the engineering bays, his fingers deftly tending to the stabilizer's delicate networks. The duct tape patches he had so casually applied during initial repairs now bore the burden of sustaining a living machine, contorting and flexing against quantum strains that would snap lesser materials like brittle glass. Yet they held. To the alien scientists, it was an enigma that a human's rudimentary tools could maintain a device beyond the reach of their finest technologies. To Jax, it was a reminder of the human spirit's capacity to adapt and improvise, turning limitations into lifelines. Outside the engineering sanctum, the celestial endeavor's diverse crew faced their own trials. The alien species on board came from worlds shaped by gravity, atmosphere, and culture far removed from each other, and yet they found themselves bound together by a shared mission fraught with uncertainty. Old prejudices surfaced in whispered conversations and furtive glances, tensions simmered beneath the surface, and mistrust threatened to fracture the fragile coalition. The ship's leadership struggled to maintain order and purpose, recognizing that their success depended not just on advanced technology, but on forging trust across uncharted cultural divides. Jax, though not a politician or diplomat, became an unexpected symbol of unity, a reminder that pragmatism and perseverance could bridge gaps that science and diplomacy could not. As the celestial endeavor approached the coordinates of the archive, the sensors detected a field of energetic distortions ripples in the quantum fabric that resembled both a warning and a shield. These anomalies interfered with the ship's instruments, causing data to fluctuate wildly and communications to jitter unpredictably. Astrius, the ship's AI, tirelessly analyzed these signals, attempting to decipher their origin and purpose. The AI proposed that the archive was protected by a complex web of quantum encryption protocols intertwined with spatial distortions designed to hide it in a localized temporal bubble. Penetrating this bubble would require precision navigation and an intimate understanding of the stabilizer's mechanics, a challenge Jax was uniquely positioned to meet. Navigating into the heart of the anomaly demanded patience and skill. The celestial endeavor slowed, engines pulsing with delicate bursts as Jax and Astrius coordinated micro-adjustments to the ship's vector. The sensation was disorienting, a liminal space where time seemed to bend and reality flickered like a malfunctioning holoscreen. As they crossed the threshold, the ship's sensors momentarily went dark before flooding with bursts of fragmented data. Images of the archive's exterior began to coalesce, a colossal, crystalline structure embedded within an asteroid field, shimmering with ancient power and geometric complexity. It was a monument to a civilization's pinnacle of knowledge and the key to unlocking the full capabilities of the quantum harmonic stabilizer. The crew prepared for a landing operation unlike any other. The asteroid field surrounding the archive was treacherous, dense with shifting rocks and unpredictable gravitational eddies. Jax coordinated with the navigation teams, manually piloting auxiliary craft designed for precision docking and surface exploration. The tension was thick. One miscalculation could send the celestial endeavor or its shuttles crashing into the cold vacuum or fracturing the delicate archive itself. Yet, despite the risks, hope burned bright among the crew. The promise that buried knowledge and forgotten technologies could usher in a new era of exploration and understanding. Upon touchdown, Jax led a team of engineers and scientists into the crystalline labyrinth. The interior was a cathedral of light and data, walls and floors composed of refractive materials that bent and split the ambient light into spectral cascades, illuminating vast halls filled with alien consoles, suspended holographic archives, and chambers housing technologies beyond imagination. The air was thick with charged particles, a tangible buzz that spoke of energy dormant yet potent. The team began their work with reverence, scanning, decoding, and interfacing with the archive systems. Every step revealed new wonders and puzzles, the echoes of a civilization's last desperate attempts to safeguard their greatest secrets. As Jax delved deeper, he encountered a control node that resonated familiarly, a quantum core that mirrored the stabilizer's principles but magnified 1,000-fold. His hands, steady and sure, connected diagnostic tools and began a delicate process of integration, carefully aligning his duct tape-reinforced stabilizer with the archive systems. It was a dance of old and new, rough improvisation meeting precise alien engineering, and slowly, the combined energies surged. The archive awakened, flooding the celestial endeavor with torrents of data, star maps, scientific treatises, and blueprints that could revolutionize propulsion, energy, and even life itself. But amid the flood of knowledge, a warning glowed in stark red, a message encrypted with fail-safes and solemn tone. The power you seek holds both creation and destruction. Wield it with wisdom, for the echoes of misuse have shattered worlds and civilizations. Jax's heart pounded with the weight of responsibility. The archive was a gift and a curse, a beacon of hope shadowed by the specter of past mistakes. The journey to understand and harness this power was only beginning, and the choices made now would ripple across the galaxy for generations. The celestial endeavor lingered near the glowing crystalline archive, its immense structure reflecting the fractured light of distant stars in dazzling, kaleidoscopic patterns. Jax Nolan stood in the engineering bay, his gaze drawn repeatedly to the holomap that displayed the archive's internal layout, a sprawling complex of intertwined chambers, data nodes, and energy conduits. The mysteries locked within promised technological marvels, but also carried an unmistakable aura of warning. Every step deeper into this ancient vault was a step into the past's forgotten conflicts, decisions made by beings who had once shaped the galaxy's destiny and, perhaps, sowed the seeds of its ruin. The alien specialists aboard the Celestial Endeavor regarded the archive with a mixture of reverence and apprehension. Their advanced instruments struggled to interface fully with the archive's defenses and intricate lattice of quantum encryptions, self-repairing security protocols, and spatial folds that shifted subtly to mislead intruders. Jax, however, approached these challenges differently. Rather than relying solely on the algorithms and crystalline logic favored by his companions, he employed his practical ingenuity, improvising adaptive feedback loops patched with duct tape and jury-rigged modulators that coaxed the ancient systems into revealing their secrets. His hands moved deftly, melding brute human practicality with alien precision in a harmony that had eluded the galaxy's greatest minds for generations. As days turned into weeks, the team gradually unlocked corridors once sealed by time. Each newly accessible chamber unveiled technologies and data beyond imagination. Propulsion theories that transcended known physics, energy sources that flickered between dimensions, and medical archives that held the key to longevity and regeneration. Yet amid the treasure trove of knowledge were warnings logs of catastrophic experiments, ethical debates frozen in time, and pleas from a civilization that had grappled with the consequences of unchecked power. Jax felt the heavy weight of stewardship settle upon him. The archive was not merely a repository of knowledge, but a testament to the dangers and responsibilities that came with it. Navigating the maze of holographic data streams and glowing consoles, Jax discovered an interface that linked directly to the quantum harmonic stabilizer aboard the Celestial Endeavor. The archive's core communicated in complex pulses and quantum codes, a dialogue that required not only technical skill, but a profound understanding of balance between energy and matter, chaos and order. It was here that Jax's combination of intuition and improvisation proved vital. By physically bridging ancient alien circuits with his makeshift duct tape reinforcements, he managed to synchronize the stabilizer's feedback loops with the archive's power matrix, creating a resonance that stabilized both systems simultaneously. Yet, as the archive and stabilizer hummed in harmonic convergence, an unexpected event rippled through the Celestial Endeavor's network, a surge of encrypted data transmitted across decades-old channels, hinting at the existence of other archives and hidden legacies scattered across the stars. The message carried an urgency and a cautionary tone, suggesting that the knowledge unlocked here was but a fraction of a greater cosmic puzzle, and that factions long thought extinct were awakening to reclaim what was once lost. Chapter 3: Shadows Across the Stars. The revelations unearthed within the archive sent shockwaves through the Celestial Endeavor's corridors. Whispers of hidden legacies and forgotten wars sparked tension among the crew, many of whom faced not only the external threats lurking in uncharted space, but internal conflicts born of ancient grudges and competing ambitions. Jax, once a mere mechanic, now found himself thrust into a role of unexpected leadership, navigating the delicate balance between exploration and survival, knowledge and caution. As the ship prepared to depart, astrogation teams charted courses toward coordinates embedded in the newly decrypted data coordinates that pointed to other lost civilizations and technology caches. Yet, the journey ahead was fraught with peril. Sensors soon detected fleets shadowing their path, remnants of factions opposed to the resurgence of ancient powers, entities willing to wage war to ensure the past remained buried. Jax stood on the bridge beside Captain Vratol and the ship's AI, Astrius, watching the starfield outside pulse with incoming threats. The galaxy was awakening, and the Celestial Endeavor was at its heart. The struggle for knowledge and power was no longer confined to dusty archives or forgotten star systems. It was a battle that would shape the destiny of all sentient life. Would you like me to continue with Chapter 3 or proceed further? You said, continue Chapter 3. ChatGPT said, certainly. Here's a detailed and immersive continuation of Chapter 3 with rich, long paragraphs. The tension aboard the Celestial Endeavor was palpable as the ship sailed deeper into contested space, navigating star lanes thick with shadows and suspicion. The crew moved through their duties with practiced precision, yet behind their disciplined facades simmered unease. The decrypted archives had revealed more than lost technologies. They had peeled back layers of galactic history riddled with betrayals, wars, and the rise and fall of civilizations desperate to claim the ultimate power promised by the ancient legacies. Among the species aboard, old rivalries and buried grievances began to stir, fracturing the delicate unity that had held the diverse crew together. Jax Nolan, still seen by many as an outsider despite his crucial role, found himself thrust not just into the heart of technical challenges, but also political intrigue and fragile diplomacy. In the dimly lit corridors of the ship, whispers of dissent wove through the air like static. Factions within the crew debated the wisdom of pursuing further archives scattered across uncharted systems, fearing that unearthing such knowledge might invite ruin rather than salvation. Others argued fervently that their mission was sacred to reclaim lost truths and protect the galaxy from repeating the mistakes of the past. The Celestial Endeavor itself, a technological marvel reborn through human ingenuity and alien science, had become a symbol of both hope and danger. Jax felt the weight of this legacy pressing on his shoulders as he balanced his practical focus with the need to mediate growing tensions. Amid this turmoil, the ship's sensors picked up the faint signatures of vessels shadowing their course fast, sleek ships moving with military precision, but cloaked in stealth technology advanced enough to evade most detection systems. These were no mere pirates or scavengers. They were remnants of a shadowy faction known only through whispered legends. The Veilborn, a secretive order rumored to be the custodians of forbidden knowledge and merciless enforcers of cosmic balance. The Veilborn saw the Celestial Endeavor's mission as a threat to the carefully maintained order, an unwelcome disturbance that could unravel the delicate equilibrium of power. Captain Vratol convened an emergency council with representatives from the ship's major species and command staff. The bridge buzzed with urgency as holographic displays mapped out the Veilborn fleet's position, speed, and potential engagement points. Strategies were debated fiercely whether to confront, evade, or negotiate with these spectral hunters. Jax, despite his unofficial status, was called upon to provide insights from the archive's technological revelations. His knowledge of the stabilizer and its linked systems gave the crew an edge, revealing vulnerabilities in the Veilborn's stealth matrices and communication protocols. The decision was made to prepare for a calculated engagement enough to demonstrate strength without provoking full-scale war. The Celestial Endeavor's weapons systems, bolstered by Jax's Duct tape-enhanced stabilizer, were readied alongside sophisticated countermeasures designed to disrupt the Veilborn's cloaking. In the tense hours before contact, Jax walked the ship's corridors, feeling the pulse of the ancient technology humming beneath his feet and the restless energy of a crew caught between past and future. When the Veilborn fleet emerged from the void, cloaks flickering under the assault of interference pulses, the battle was swift and fierce. The Celestial Endeavor's quantum cannons unleashed torrents of energy, precise and devastating, while agile fighter craft engaged in deadly dogfights amid the swirling debris fields of forgotten wars. Jax coordinated closely with Astrius, synchronizing system responses and patching critical damage with quick, improvised fixes. The Duct tape, symbolic of human tenacity, became a metaphor for the ship's resilience, a fragile but vital thread holding together the future. Though the Veilborn were repelled, their warning was clear. The pursuit of lost knowledge would not go unchallenged. As the dust settled and the Celestial Endeavor limped forward, Jax knew that their journey was far from over. The shadows across the stars were growing longer, and the fragile alliance aboard the ship would be tested as never before. The race to unlock the ancient secrets had become a struggle for survival, and the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The aftermath of the Veilborn engagement left the Celestial Endeavor battered but unbroken. The ship's hull bore scorch marks and microfractures, while within its sprawling corridors, whispers of both victory and foreboding echoed among the crew. The Veilborn had not been merely a passing threat, they were a shadow cast long and deep across the galaxy. Guardians of a cosmic order who saw themselves as arbiters of balance, wielding fear as deftly as their advanced technology. Their warning was clear. The pursuit of forgotten knowledge was a path fraught with peril, and some doors were meant to remain sealed. Jax Nolan found himself at the center of a growing maelstrom not just of external conflict, but internal strife. The diverse crew of the Celestial Endeavor wrestled with doubts and fears, the weight of their shared mission pressing against the limits of their unity. Old grudges flared, alliances shifted, and political intrigue rippled through the command structure. Jax, whose pragmatic spirit had once seemed an oddity among the galaxy's finest minds, emerged as a reluctant beacon of hope and reason, his unorthodox methods proving crucial in stabilizing not just the ship's systems, but the fragile bonds among its people. The Archive's cryptic warnings echoed in every corner of the ship, a constant reminder that knowledge came with a price. The ancient civilization that had created the quantum harmonic stabilizer had understood this all too well. Power, without wisdom, could unravel worlds and doom civilizations to ruin. As Jax and the ship's scholars delved deeper into the archives, decrypting blueprints and philosophical treatises alike, they uncovered fragments of a tragic history, a cycle of hubris, rebellion, and cataclysm that had shattered the creators and scattered their legacy across the stars. In the midst of this intellectual and emotional tempest, the Celestial Endeavor received a transmission, a coded distress signal emanating from a remote system on the fringes of known space. The message spoke of another archive, hidden within a devastated planet rumored to hold the final key to mastering the stabilizer and unlocking a power that could reshape reality itself. The coordinates were perilous, situated within a volatile sector dominated by mercenary factions and cosmic phenomena that defied explanation. Captain Vratol convened the command council, weighing the risks and potential rewards. The decision was unanimous: this new mission was their only hope to secure the future and prevent the galaxy from descending into chaos. Preparations began in earnest, with Jax spearheading upgrades to the ship's systems, integrating newly uncovered technologies with his ever-reliable duct tape patches to ensure maximum resilience. As the Celestial Endeavor set course for the distant system, the crew braced for the unknown. The journey promised to test their courage, unity, and the very limits of their technological prowess. Yet amidst the uncertainty, a shared determination burned bright: the belief that through resilience, ingenuity, and the forging of unlikely alliances, they might yet illuminate the shadows that stretched across the stars. Chapter 4: The Final Key. The Celestial Endeavor emerged from hyperspace above the ruined planet, its sensors scanning the desolate landscape below. The world was a scarred testament to ancient devastation. Craters marred its surface, and storms of charged particles danced ominously in its thin atmosphere. Yet beneath the ruin lay the promise of answers, buried deep within subterranean vaults and crystalline catacombs that housed the final archive. The crew prepared for descent, the gravity of the mission settling over them like a silent vow. Jax led the exploration team into the planet's heart, navigating labyrinthine tunnels illuminated by the faint glow of bioluminescent minerals and ancient tech that pulsed with residual energy. Each chamber revealed fragments of a civilization's last desperate attempts to safeguard knowledge too powerful for unchecked hands. The air was thick with charged particles and a palpable sense of reverence and warning. The deeper they ventured, the more they sensed a presence watching, an intelligence woven into the planet's very core. At the center of the vault, they found a monolithic device, an ancient quantum core, far beyond the scale of the stabilizer, its energies humming with both creation and destruction. Jax understood that this was the final key, the ultimate piece of the cosmic puzzle. Yet as he interfaced with the device, it resisted, activating defenses that challenged both their technology and will. The mission became a race against time and forces determined to keep the secret sealed. With ingenuity and resolve, Jax and the crew worked to pacify the core, weaving together alien tech, human improvisation, and the enduring spirit symbolized by a humble roll of duct tape. The quantum core's resonance shifted, bathing the vault in a radiant glow that promised new beginnings and the dawn of a galactic era shaped by both wisdom and innovation. As the celestial endeavor ascended from the planet, carrying the final key and the hopes of countless worlds, Jax looked to the stars with a quiet smile. The journey had tested everything, but in the end, it was the unyielding courage and creativity of a human mechanic that had turned the tide. The galaxy would never be the same. As the celestial endeavor ascended from the shattered planet's atmosphere, the ancient quantum core safely integrated into the ship's systems. A profound silence settled over the crew. The glow from the core pulsed faintly through the vessel, casting an ethereal light that seemed to breathe life into every corridor and chamber. Jax Nolan stood quietly on the observation deck, gazing out at the swirling nebulae and distant stars, feeling the weight of the journey finally lift even as new responsibilities took hold. The quantum core was more than just a piece of technology. It was a beacon of hope, a synthesis of lost knowledge and new possibilities that promised to redefine the galaxy's future. The integration process was delicate and complex. The core's energies resonated with the quantum harmonic stabilizer, amplifying its capabilities far beyond initial expectations. Warp drives roared back to life with a power that made the stars blur past faster than ever before, opening routes to unexplored realms and unlocking potentials that had lain dormant for millennia. Yet the core also whispered warnings encoded in its quantum matrices, a reminder that such power demanded wisdom, balance, and restraint. The ancients had faced catastrophe when ambition outpaced prudence, and their legacy was a cautionary tale woven through every byte of data. Amid the excitement, the celestial endeavor's leadership knew the galaxy's landscape was shifting. The fall of the Shadow Conclave, the repelling of the Veilborn, and now the reclamation of the final archive had altered the delicate balance of power. Various factions, once dormant or hidden, now stirred with renewed interest and apprehension. Diplomatic channels buzzed with cautious overtures and veiled threats. The crew, a mosaic of species and cultures, found themselves not only explorers but envoys and guardians of a fragile peace. Jax's role evolved beyond that of mechanic or improviser. He became a symbol, a testament to human ingenuity and perseverance in a universe often dominated by ancient legacies and rigid hierarchies. His humble tools, especially the ubiquitous duct tape, had become emblematic of a spirit that embraced imperfection and adaptability, qualities that resonated deeply in this era of uncertainty. The ship's AI, Astrius, expanded its consciousness, learning from the core and from Jax alike, becoming a true partner in guiding the celestial endeavor through the challenges ahead. As the ship charted a new course, ready to share its discoveries and defend its mission, Jax reflected on the improbable chain of events that had brought him here, from a human mechanic among aliens, doubted and underestimated, to the architect of a renaissance in galactic exploration. The stars stretched before them, endless and inviting, filled with mysteries to unravel and futures to shape. In that moment, with the universe unfolding in all its grandeur, Jax smiled softly, a quiet affirmation that sometimes the smallest tools and simplest ideas could bridge the vastest divides, unlock the deepest secrets, and change the fate of galaxies. The celestial endeavor surged forward into the unknown, a titan reborn not just by alien technology, but by human hands and heart. The days following the integration of the quantum core were a whirlwind of activity aboard the celestial endeavor. Systems once dormant now pulsed with a vibrant energy that seemed almost sentient, as if the ship itself had awakened to a new purpose. Jax Nolan moved through the corridors with a steady purpose, his hands no longer just wielding tools of repair, but orchestrating a symphony of revitalization. The duct tape that had once seemed a humble makeshift fix had become a symbol of resilience and ingenuity, celebrated not only by the crew but whispered about in awe by alien engineers who had never before witnessed such unorthodox brilliance. His approach was a living testament to the idea that sometimes innovation springs not from the most advanced technology, but from a spirit willing to adapt, improvise, and persevere. Yet beneath the triumphant veneer, a sobering reality took root. The celestial endeavor was no longer just a ship, it was a beacon of hope and a target for countless factions whose interests clashed with the newfound power the vessel now wielded. The archives had unlocked secrets that could reshape energy production, medicine, and even the fundamental understanding of space-time, attracting attention from warlords, scientific collectives, and shadowy cabals alike. Diplomacy became as crucial as engineering, and the ship's halls echoed not just with the hum of machines, but with heated debates, fragile negotiations, and the constant tension of uneasy alliances. Jax found himself unexpectedly drawn into these complexities. Though he remained grounded in the practical world of mechanics and technology, the fate of the galaxy now hinged in part on his ability to bridge divides between species, cultures, and ideologies. His straightforward humanity marked by humility, humor, and relentless problem-solving became a powerful force for unity in a crew fractured by centuries of history and prejudice. Through late-night conversations under the faint glow of star maps and over shared meals in the communal halls, Jax forged friendships and alliances that transcended language and biology, reminding all aboard that beyond their differences lay a shared destiny. Amid these interpersonal dynamics, the ship itself continued to evolve. The quantum core's integration revealed layers of complexity that seemed almost infinite, dimensions of energy and data folding into each other like a cosmic origami, revealing pathways to technologies and knowledge that had been lost to time. Astrius, the AI once limited to procedural commands, expanded its cognition exponentially, becoming a guardian of the ship's legacy and a partner in exploration. Its voice, once a monotone hum, now carried subtle nuances of curiosity and empathy, reflecting a growth shaped by its interactions with Jax and the crew. As the celestial endeavor prepared to chart new courses toward unexplored sectors and unclaimed archives, a profound sense of purpose settled over the ship. The journey ahead promised to challenge not only their technology and courage, but the very fabric of their understanding of existence, of connection, and of the responsibilities that come with wielding great power. For Jax, the adventure was no longer just about fixing machines with duct tape, but about weaving together the threads of countless lives and histories into a tapestry that could sustain the fragile hope of a galaxy yearning to move beyond its fractured past. Looking out from the observation deck, Jax watched the stars streak past as the ship engaged its newly enhanced warp drives, a cascade of light spilling across the vastness of space. The cosmos awaited vast, mysterious, and infinite. With every repaired circuit and every cautious alliance, they had taken a step closer to a future shaped not by fear or domination, but by ingenuity, courage, and the unyielding spirit of those who dare to dream beyond the stars. And as the celestial endeavor sailed boldly into the unknown, Jax Harper, human mechanic and unlikely hero, knew that sometimes the simplest tools, when wielded with determination and heart, could change the course of galaxies. As the celestial endeavor disappeared into the swirling mists of hyperspace, leaving behind the fractured worlds and forgotten archives it had once sought, Jax Nolan stood silently on the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly before him, an infinite canvas of possibility and mystery. He reflected on the improbable journey that had brought him here. A human mechanic, armed with nothing more than instinct, a roll of duct tape, and an unshakable resolve, had solved a puzzle that had baffled the galaxy's greatest minds. His hands, weathered by years of practical labor, had touched the very heart of alien genius and brought it back from the brink of silence. The galaxy was forever changed not by the power of ancient technology alone, but by the simple truth that innovation often arises from the humblest of beginnings. It was a reminder that greatness was not the exclusive domain of the brilliant or the powerful, but the inheritance of those who dare to try, to adapt, and to believe. Jax smiled softly, knowing that the celestial endeavor was no longer just a ship. It was a symbol of hope, resilience, and the extraordinary potential that lies within every hand willing to fix what others have deemed impossible. As new stars beckoned and uncharted horizons awaited, Jax felt the steady hum of the quantum core beneath his feet, a heartbeat linking past and future, alien and human, mystery and mastery. Whatever challenges awaited in the vast unknown, he was ready. Because in the grand tapestry of the cosmos, sometimes the smallest threads hold the greatest strength. And with that, the ship surged forward, carrying its crew and the legacy of human ingenuity into the endless night, where stories yet untold waited to be written among the stars.